as we prepare for this last, as we prepare to do the homework, I actually originally had not together. So if you notice, assignment homework 2 was really short, and in one of the earlier videos, I might have acted a little confused about it. That's because I had originally had those separated, and so I had to fix that. But I'm going to go through the fourth homework assignment, the last of the homework assignments, briefly, and just so we kind of have an idea of how you do all these. This video is just basically going to be the idea that the first ones are basically just asking you how to do the rules of replacement. And so you have things like A plus B wedge C, and you just simplify out the B wedge C. It's just simplification. And here, like number 2, is just conjunction of those. And this is the one with the answers. And so, you know, as long as you're not studying this really closely, the next thing you do is you can come down here, and what these are looking just at the rules of replacement. I'm asking you, for example, A horseshoe B means the same thing as bar B horseshoe bar A via transposition. And A wedge A means A via tautology. And bar B horseshoe A means the same thing as bar B wedge A via implication. And so the idea is that every group of 5 of these can be sort of somehow mixed together, and if you apply more than one rule, you probably get some of these answers. But by applying just one rule, which ones happen? And so that's what we're looking for here, and label those. And then we get down here and we have some problems. And you'll notice on these, they're like the others, but they use all 18 rules. And a lot of them will be pretty simple, like Q and K, and you're trying to prove Q and K, so you just conjunction. But as we move along, we will get down and you get a little further along, and what you'll notice is a few of them take 3 or 4 steps to get there, and some of them will have more than one way you could do it. Like number 16 here, you could do it 2 different ways. Either way is fine. They're just different ways of doing it. There's really nothing more to it, and so that's just something to keep in mind. And so that's what that is. Like I said, I don't think any of these, I think, looks like number 23 might be the longest. It has 5 lines. And so typically the way the textbook does is a lot of them have 8-10 lines. And so I've got a lot of really simple ones, and so 1, 2, 3 lines. It's just sort of how you use this logic and you follow the process through. And the last thing I've done is at the bottom I have rules. First off, rules of inference, and then I have rules of replacement. And these are just ordinary language statements in which I have you say something like, maybe these are things you've heard, like, I'll either have a Coke or Pepsi. The waiter says, we don't have Pepsi. Thus, I'll be having Coke. That's simply a disjunctive syllogism. And so that's an example of that. Or, we know you're driving a Ford truck. We know it's green. Therefore, we know you're driving a green truck. And in that case, we're simply doing sort of a conjunction of the idea of driving a truck and the fact that the vehicle is green. And therefore, we can put it together into one statement. And so that's sort of the idea here, is what rule is being used. And the first ones use the rules of inference, and the next one use the rules of replacement. And so the idea is that you're not just looking at that symbolization, but you can actually see how these work back in ordinary language. Alright, so go through and do that. The last of the 4 is probably the most important one, but the other one is short and it's a little bit simpler, and so lesson 3. And so do all that homework, and the exam follows along. A lot of these, I set the exam up to be sort of following the same pattern, and so you want to make sure to do that so that you can do well on the exam, that you can understand these.